In today's video, we're going to take a look at multiple representations, which really just means we're going to take points and we're going to put them in a table, we're going to put them in a mapping, we're going to create tables from equations, and we're going to match points in various forms to an equation that you are given. So let's take a look at how to write points into a table. So what we got are several points right here, and we're going to put those points into the table to the right, and there's some steps we're going to go through. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to put the points x value, which it always comes x and then y. You're going to put the x value underneath the first column in your table. That's always the x. X comes first. So our first point is 2, 5. So 2 is going to be the x value, and -5 is going to be your y value. Your next point's 3, 1, so it's x, y again. So we put 3 in for x and 1 in for y. And our last point is 9, -5, so 9 is your x value, and -5 is your y value. So you put -5 in for y, and there you go, you have put points into a table. So now we're going to take a look at how to draw points as a mapping. So I've got several points, 2, -5, 3, 1, 9, -5, same points we used earlier. And what we're going to do is we're going to take those points and put them in, again, something called a mapping. To make a mapping, the first thing you do is make sure your points are listed in order x, y, and they are. Points are always listed x and then y, which is convenient because it's in alphabetical order. Now what we're going to do is make two ovals. And you want to make your ovals big enough to contain, well, all of the points. Now you're going to put the x values in the first oval. 2, that's an x value. 3, that's an x value. And 9, that's an x value. And we're going to put the y values in the second oval. Now here's the deal. If the x or y values repeat, you do not list them twice. So we've got -5 as a y. We've got 1 as a y. And we have -5 again as a y value. So we're not going to list -5 twice. Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw arrows from the x values to the y values they match. And what I mean by that is you see that 2, -5 is a point, an ordered pair. I want to key on that word pair, that ordered pair. So the 2 is going to be paired up with, using an arrow, the -5. So you've got 3, 1, so the 3 is going to pair up with the 1. And our last one, 9, is going to pair up with -5. And there you go, you have drawn a mapping. Again, x values on the left hand side, y values on the right hand side. If they repeat, don't write them twice, and you draw arrows from the x's to the y's. And that's it. Alright, so we're on to our next step of what we're going to do today, which is to create a table. I'm going to say the easy way, using a TI-84 or 83 calculator. What you're going to want to do is open up your graphing calculator, or get it out, press pause, make sure it's up and running, and press play when you're ready to follow along with me. Alright, now that you've got your calculator up and going, what we're going to want to do is to create a table for this equation right here. Y equals -3x squared plus 2x minus 4. And to do that, we're going to need to go through several steps. The first step to making a table is to always press the y equals button. You should see the screen. Now we want to type out the right hand side of the equation. So the first thing we're going to do is type the negative in front of the 3x. So we type the negative. Negative is down here below the 3 next to the enter. It is important that you use a negative instead of a minus sign, since 3 is negative. The calculator thinks negative is different from subtract, so keep that in mind. So we go negative 3, and then we type the X button, the XT theta N button next to the green alpha button. Then we type the squared button, which is down on the left-hand side of the calculator, and you should see an exponent of 2 show up above the X. Then we're going to type plus 2x and then subtract. Be careful, make sure you're using subtract, and then 4. And we've got the equation into the calculator. Once we have the equation into the calculator, all we need to do is click second, which is the button in the top left-hand corner of that keypad, and then hit graph. And there you go, you have created a table using the TI-84. Now what we're going to do is we're going to match equations to points. So you're still going to want your calculator. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a table for each equation using your calculator. And then we're going to see if the table, the points on the table, match the points that you are given. So pretty easy. It is a guess and check method. Get your calculator going, get it turned on, and go to your y equals screen by pressing y equals. And let's type out that first equation, x minus 2. So x minus 2. Press enter. And let's check answer choice A. So we're going to go second graph. And we're seeing if negative 1, 1 is a match. And if you look on your table, you should notice that negative 1 matches with negative 3, or pairs up with negative 3. So it isn't a match. Negative 1 should be paired up with negative 1. So A is no good. Let's check B. So to check B, you do the same thing. You go to y equals, and you can press the clear button to erase everything on that screen. Type out x, type second graph, and negative 1, 1 is going to be the first point we're going to match. And you notice negative 1 does match, but all the points have to match. So we're going to check 1, 1. 1, 1 is also a match. And then we're going to check 327. So 3, and our table says 3. So we know that B is not the correct answer. Now C, you're going to have to know how to type in that exponent. So let's go ahead and look at that. To get the exponent in, again you type x, and to get the exponent you're going to type this button that looks like an upside down V. It's called the caret symbol. So here it is, caret symbol, and we're going to type 3. And then I'm in the exponent, so I'm going to type the right arrow button, and that's going to get me out of that exponent. So it's x to the third. And again, we go second table, and you'll find out this time negative 1, 1, 1, and 327, they all match. It's always a good idea to check and make absolutely sure to check that last one. So you go 3, exponent x. If you don't see it go into the exponent, but you see that little upside down V thing and then the x, that's completely fine. So you go 3 exponent x, and then second table, and you'll notice this one doesn't match up very well at all. It's negative 1, 0.3, not a match. And there you go. C would be the correct answer. And for our last type of problem, we're going to match points to a graph. And all we really need to review are how to put points onto a graph. So there are 3 steps basically. We start with the first graph, then we plot the points in the graph by starting with the x, and that's your left or right, and then we're going to move up or down from the y to get the y value. So let me show you that. We've got these points right here, negative 1, 2, 2, 0, negative 2. And let's plot that first point. Our x value is negative 1, so we go over negative 1 on the x-axis. That puts us right about here. and then we move down 1 because it's -1 also, and we plot our point. So again, your points are always x and then y. Since it was -1, we went to the left 1. Since it was -1 for the y, we went down 1 and we drew our point. Our second point is 2, 2, so we go over 2 on the x value, we go up 2 on the y value, find out where they match, and draw a point. And our last point is 0, -2. We draw that point and we notice it matches right away, so this graph is definitely a match. Let's check the other one, -1, -1, 2, 2. And if you weren't real careful and this one was like the first answer choice, it might be a little misleading because 0, -2 is down here. This one's not a match at all. Let's check the last one, -1, -1 matches up. 2, 2 does not match, and neither does 0, -2. So this one isn't a match either. The first graph is. And there you go. We matched some points to a graph.